Hey, how y'all doing? My name's Ethan. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to tie a pattern that I first came across in Annie Mill's book, A Passion for Tarpon. It's a shrimp imitation, and I love throwing this fly when the fish get robotic. It's extremely natural looking in the water, and I find that, when the fish are being relatively challenging, you have to kind of throw something that the fish are seeing on a regular basis, or imitate something that is relatively natural to the area that you're fishing. And the fish get their area of awareness, their cone more or less, gets really tight, especially in the middle of the season when they're seeing a ton of flies, and they've got to carry out nature's role. Their area of awareness gets really tight, and if I can throw this fly and keep it in that zone or that cone for as long as possible, eventually I'm going to get a bite, even if they are being relatively challenging. So let's get started. I've got a 1/0 Mustad streamer C68S right here in the vise, and I'm going to be tying with a 210 Denier Chartreuse thread. So I'm going to start my thread towards the middle and work it all the way on back to the bend. And it's a very simple pattern. It only requires a couple of materials, one being a Marabou feather. So one thing I like to do with my feathers before I tie them in is I like to pull out the very tip where the quill extends to. And then I'm going to run my fingers along the feather and pull back anybody that isn't falling in a uniform fashion. And then we're going to use this webbing later on for the front part of the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and tie in about 2 shanks worth of material here. Put my feather off to the side, and I'm going to reach for some Sinews ice dub, or ice dub from hairline there. And then after I get it tied in, I'm going to go ahead and parachute this just to kind of get everything to stand up. Hopefully preventing any fouling from happening. Next, I'm going to reach for some crosscut. Depending on where you're getting your cut from, sometimes it can be relatively thick on the hide or thin, talking about the fur. But regardless, I like to always throw in or cut it at a 45 because it can create a gigantic clump, especially when you first tie it in and tie it off. So I'm going to make sure that the end of this hide comes over that bump right there, which is going to create a nice smooth transition. Advance my thread forward a little bit. We're only going to make about 1, maybe 2 wraps, and it does depend on how thick the fur is on the hide. With this one, we're going to go 2. Cut off that excess there. Now we're going to be setting up our material, so we're going to palmer forward. And it's very important that you do it in this order. So off that webbing on that feather that I just tied in, the front part of it, or the tail end of it, excuse me, I'm just going to go ahead and pull off some of that, and I'm going to cut off any remaining quill that's attached to it. I'm just going to tie it in facing backwards. Then I'm going to grab some Pearl Crystal Flash. This stuff is crazy long. So I'll take one strand, I'm going to double it, and then I'm going to tie it in. It's going to create a total of 4 here. Then I'm going to just kind of get this stuff down, and then come back and tie in a set of eyes. I could have done that afterwards, but I'm tie my eyes as close to that rabbit zonker as possible. Advance my thread forward. And now with this Marabou, we're going to take it first. If we can separate it from the crystal flash. And I'm just going to let it kind of, let the webbing come through the eyes, or let the eyes come through the webbing. And then after I get one wrap on there where it's kind of engulfing the eyes, I'm going to twist it with my fingers, and then I'm just going to palmer it forward. And it gives the fly just a lot of life. It looks buggy. And then I'm going to take my crystal flash and do the same. I'm just going to take my fingers and just twist it up. And then we're going to just palmer this bad boy forward. Tie it off. Trim off the remaining excess here. I really hope that my camera is still in focus as I've bumped the vise a couple of times. And then the last step I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on a weed guard. I love fishing this fly around floating grass. You know, there's a ton of life inside of the floating grass, and shrimp is something that the fish are actively looking for, and they're actively looking up at the grass for anything, any little morsel that's going to provide them with a quick and easy snack. I'm going to finish my fly off right here in front of the weed guard. Well, it looks like that's not happening. And that's it. Very simple, easy fly to tie. It's highly effective. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'd love to see them down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And please give it a like, a thumbs up. If you guys are looking to reach me or contact me, you can look me up at my website at CaptainEthanKibbers.com. And thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.